Welcome to the Barely Normal Wet Shaver. That would be me, Doug Bear. Where the heck has everybody been? Like, I'm kind of lonely, you know? What's up? I've been on the road like a truck driver, and it's just been nonstop. But no excuses, just have a lot of things that I want to do. And this is just one. These are going to be relatively short. I may run them, maybe in the same day. I'm not exactly sure. As many as I can shoot with the time that I have available to me. But this idea it centers around a unique, as I'm calling it, the barely normal stropping technique. And I'm sure there are probably others that play around with different ways to strop. But I'm going to show you what I'm doing that is really working quite successfully for me. So it starts off first with this guy right here. So the old paddle strop. One of the things I personally have kind of enjoyed with a paddle strop is that the tension is the exact same. It's relatively stiff, right? There isn't much play at all. So I toyed around a little bit with different levels of pressure. And I found that with a paddle strop that I can be really effective while still putting a little pressure down against the edge of the blade. Whereas opposed to the strop style that you see here, you have to be careful with how much pressure you apply based on the amount of flex that you allow into the strop. So what I've been doing simply is with the paddle strop, I'm using a suede. And being an old leather guy, I know that suede does have a nap that has direction. So I find that the suede is working great from a standpoint of smoothing the edge to a good level prior to going to the smooth leather latigo in my case, but the smooth leather surface of a standard strop. So what I'll do is I'm going to stand up. You can just see the strop, and we'll try to angle this so that you can see it best. I'm laying for the beginners and those guys who may be struggling with their technique a little bit. I'll just show what you've probably seen many times. But as I lay everything flat, I mean, it is just the spine here is on the surface as well as the edge of the blade, and you slide it forward in this case, and then I never allow it to lift off the surface. I just roll it on the spine and then bring it back through, right? Well, what I'm doing that's a little bit different is I'm actually applying a lot of twisted torque this way down on the blade, and I will do 15 in one like this, one direction, meaning I have it so that the suede is like this, and then let's say I've done my 15, I actually grab a hold of this and go this way as well. Maybe I'm being a little nutsy, but I think that this suede grabs a hold of that blade a little bit differently because of the direction that napped surface has. You can feel it one way it's a little bit more abrasive, and the other way is a little smoother. So I do the 15 in both directions, and I like the fact that I can put a lot of pressure on it. I think it actually does smooth out, straighten out that edge a little bit more in preparation for the standard leather strop. Okay, so now we're going to go to the standard leather strop, and I'll start with this with a good bit of tension. So as you can see right now, this is laying pretty flat. I'll heat it up a little bit and get some friction on there to get that nice and kind of room temperature like, and a little bit softer pliability. I also kind of squeeze it a little bit so the edges aren't curved, and then I will hold that tension really stiff and do roughly about 30 this way. And then what I'll do, and I should say that while I'm doing these, I am putting about the same amount of pressure torquing this way down into it and this way twisting into the edge of the blade, a little bit more than maybe what's normal for a lot of people. I'm not exactly sure, but I'm not afraid to put that pressure as long as this is rather rigid. But I think sometimes you miss a little bit of the apex when you have it that way, and I think different grinds will react differently. So some grinds, you know, like a wedge, is so rigid and that, you know, I kind of feel like loosening this up a little bit will help bring the contact to the apex a little bit better. But in this case, I am definitely not using a lot of pressure. I'm softening up, I'm not torquing, I'm just laying it on the surface and creating that friction, you know, at a much softer amount or less pressure, and doing it like that. So I'll do another 30 that way. And that's how I'm doing it. So I could be way off, and there's probably some people that'll tell me I'm nuts. There always are, right? Who doesn't have those people who don't think you're crazy? But I have had such success with this. And, you know, I like to do 30 and 30, 15, 15 with the suede, and then, you know, roughly 30 with the strop with full tension and torquing the edge into the leather, and then in turn, loosening up that, creating a little bit of slack in the leather strop, and then lightly going over for another 30. And I just have it in my head that that edge is getting a little bit more exposure to smooth it out a little bit when you curve it like that. And actually, I've mentioned Caleb McCullough's name a few times, and I texted back and forth with him, and he was the first one who really said to me, although you have to be careful, I probably relax my strops a little more than others, believing that I'm making contact with the apex. So this isn't really completely my idea, but I think that applying with the suede and using a paddle strop, I can really put some pressure on it and get it started and prepped to get better results with the leather strop. So that's my theory, and I'm sticking to it. Success breeds repetition in this case. All right, guys, that's my quickie on this one. Until the next time, peace out.